Welcome, New Home Star, to the third Thursday call, the All-Star Sales Call for the month of September. I'm here with the one and only Jamie Pugh. And we're here to talk through some ideas about selling inventory home here at the end of the year. But before we do that, we have to jump into some rock stars from last month.
All right, let's get it.
Okay, so when we talk about units sold, we kept hearing a lot that August was slow and quiet, but based off of these numbers, I don't buy it.
No, had an outstanding August across the country.
Yeah, so we sold some houses. So up in Oregon, Heather Lowry sold 8 net sales last month, which is pretty bad to the bone.
That's amazing, yep.
We say we are on a weekly Mensa call. Every week, all the Mensa members get on a phone call. And we were talking about traffic, and she said, oh, it's been really slow and quiet.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, we super believe that. So tied with Heather was Jeff Johnson from Hayden Homes, also sold 8 houses.
Amazing.
And then in Chicago, Victoria Ringhausen also sold 8. She's just on a tear.
On a tear. Just got moved into a new community. She's really just rocking it out.
So tied for second place, we have 2 people that are tied for second. Sierra Infante sold 7 net sales down in South Tampa. That's pretty impressive. Some new names to this list. And then also tied with her is Jeremy Logan. Jeremy's been around a long time, but he also sold 7 net sales in the month of August.
It's amazing what
she's pretty sweet. So when we talk about volume, it's also impressive. Jeremy actually came in at the #1 volume spot. He sold $2.5 million in sales
in August.
Just silly. Jeff came in second. Jeff Johnson out at Hayden Homes, $2.2 million. Another Hayden Homes member, Lindsay Clausen, makes the list at third at just over $2 million.
Wow.
And then Julian Stewart, also Hayden.
Oh yeah.
Catching a trend.
Brand new to the company, so that's shout out to him.
So $1.7 million there. And then Sierra Infante down in South Tampa sold $1.5 million in homes.
These numbers are crazy.
Yeah, it's silly. Everyone said, oh, August is slow, but it's not.
No.
So one thing that will help us, and we're going to talk through today, 4 different tips to selling some year-end inventory homes.
That's right.
So it's kind of that time of year where we can still get stuff closed and sold, and if it closes, our builders get a lot happier with us a lot faster if we can do that right now.
Absolutely. Yep.
Okay, so 4 tips for selling year-end inventory. The first tip is go back to your old registration cards.
Yep. There's money in them registration cards.
Yeah, Keith says that all the time.
That's right.
Go back and check your registration cards. All right, so we're going to talk through 4 tips to selling year-end inventory homes. So tip #1 that we would tell you to sell some inventory homes now that will close by the end of the year is go through your old registration cards. Jamie, what are some of your tips if you are going through some of your old registration cards? How do you do that? What do you look at?
You know, what I would do is I would see where we are at in the critical path. Were we at just at welcome? Was I building rapport with them? Was I able to get through some discovery? You know, maybe I need to go revisit some of the 5 discovery zones. Maybe I need to dig deeper in those 5 discovery zones. And that should be inside of your notes, inside of your memory, and you just need to make sure that you're writing these things down. Another thing I know that you do as well is that you go through the funnel. So where are they at in the funnel as well?
So for me, when I go through old registration cards, I always try to see where they end up in the funnel, because then that tells me where to go to next. Right. So if I got them all the way through floor plan, then maybe I can follow up and say, hey, we have some updated features, right. I have some other things here I want to show you, right. And it keeps that path going. That's still the most favorable.
Right. And if you're at floor plan, have they picked out that 1 floor plan, or are you still trying to decide between maybe 2 floor plans, right? And then that leads to some questions as well.
Yeah. And we've seen this in a lot of guys that sell houses over and over again, is they know the value of these registration cards. Mm-hmm. And once those are there, you're not bothering people by following up. It's a service. They're expecting you to do that for them. So go through your old registration cards. So that's tip #1. Dig through your old cards.
That's right. Yep.
Tip #2, I find this one pretty interesting, and this could be maybe hard for a lot of people, is resell people that you've already sold and have canceled.
Yeah. It's a secret gold mine, I'm telling you so.
Why?
Why? Because sometimes you don't know the situation. Sometimes they're not always your canceled buyers. Sometimes they're your community's canceled buyers. So you need to make sure that you go back, you find out all you can about the situation. Why did they cancel? Was it financing? Was it a contingency to sell their own home and they weren't able to sell it? So you get all that information before you call these people, and then you're able to reconnect with them. And the great thing about these guys, they've already decided to buy your home at one point, right?
Yeah.
And so you're already all the way down to floor plan, at least with this buyer. And sometimes you're able to even offer them the same home site And sometimes it's the home that they picked out and now it's finished, and now they can come back and they may be able to purchase the home that they started in the first place. So
yeah, so before you call those, sometimes though, it's good to walk through some of those ideas with your manager.
Yeah,
because sometimes there could be a really touchy reason why they canceled, and it's good to know that.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's just something comes up and they weren't able to close on a house in February, but now that it's September and October, some of their life could have rearranged and they actually still wanted to. But there is sometimes with buyers, when they cancel, they're sometimes embarrassed to show back up because it's embarrassing. They feel like they let you down. It's hard. So if you give them permission to say, hey, come back in, they already love you, they already know your product. Actually, I saw a lot of this last summer. As when we move salespeople to new communities, or if you are transplanted to a new place, there's sometimes lots of cancellations in your community that aren't yours.
Yeah.
And so there's some room to kind of reset there and go through that. Yep. Okay, so tip one, let's go through your reg cards. Step two is call through your old canceled buyers. Step three, do an MLS online audit of all of your inventory homes.
Yeah. Yeah, go through the audit. Also refresh your words. Maybe you've had the same type of words in there describing the home. Go back through that. See if you can get it to really talk to the TCG that you're trying to attract. Sometimes TCGs can change over the life of a community. So you can do that. Make sure that you got professional photographs, or at least good photographs that you can take in the right lighting. Tons of things that you can do on the MLS.
Another trick we saw when we do the MLS audits is check days on market. Sometimes, Jamie and I actually had this conversation just last week. Sometimes if the days on market on the MLS are long, even say you put it in when the house first started construction and now the house is done and it looks like it has 200 days on market, there are some real estate agents that will just skip over that listing because they think something's wrong with it. Because in the resale world, if a house in these markets that we're in sits for 300 days, something's really wrong.
Yeah, something's wrong with the home.
So in this case, make sure you check days on market, and some MLSs you're able to maybe pull it off, reset it, or do different things to be able to lower those days back down.
Right. Or maybe just even put a little remarks in the agent remarks, and maybe put something in there about this home was listed, you know, before construction. Something like that to justify the days on the market a little bit.
Okay, so tip one, reg cards.
Yep. 2,
canceled buyers.
Yep.
3, do an MLS online audit of all your houses. Step 4 is actually just walk your inventory homes. Please just walk your inventory homes.
That's right. Walk them every week until it's sold. So you're going to walk it. You're going to look for unseen things. You know, make sure something didn't happen over the night. Make sure that you're not surprised by something that you find out when you go to the home. You know, lots of times, you know, that's key. So when you're showing the home, you're showing it in its best light.
Yeah, because sometimes things happen in empty houses. I think that's all I'm going to say because this is a national call and I don't want to get too weird. But stuff happens. So walk it before you have showings. So you know if there's a broken window, you know if something happens. I had one time, I had a kid try to like set something on fire in the stove because the house was on. You have to know that stuff before you show it.
And then sometimes, you know, wildlife will get into the home, or not in the home, but maybe around the home. You know, we really keep our windows clean, and sometimes the birds will actually hit the windows. And so it's important to make sure that you get those things out of the way and doesn't surprise you. Yeah,
so walk it so you're not surprised. I would also say walk it with your manager when you do the triangle offense. One thing that we found that's really helpful is when you're walking those homes, think about the TCG that will come in there. Think about the hot buttons that will probably come in there, and then role play it.
Yeah.
And practice it over and over again. I remember we did this with a couple agents, and the home had sat for a long time. As we walked through the home and pretended and talked through the hot buttons and did FBEs and all the things, we actually found that the furniture was in the wrong spot. So then we moved the furniture around, we practiced it the right way, and it sold the next week because when we were able to create value in that. So make sure you walk your houses.
Absolutely.
Okay, so 4 tips. Go through registration cards. Resell buyers that you've already sold that may be canceled. Check online audits. Make sure that all your stuff in the MLS is right and it's looking good and it's looking clean. And lastly, you go out, you actually walk the house so there's no surprises for you or your customers, and that everything's practiced and you're polished and it's ready to go.
Absolutely.
Cool. So those are our tips to sell some year-end inventory homes here starting in September. Let's try to get these things close to the end of the year. And then after that, if we sell enough houses here in the next few weeks, then we can also really enjoy ourselves.
That's right.
On the beaches of Mexico.
That's right.
And we won't be stressing out because we crushed September.
Oh yeah, it's awesome.
All right, so go crush September. Jamie and I are gonna go walk some inventory homes. Have a good Thursday.
Yep.